Hey, there we are. I was busy watching Man United and Fulham. That's why we didn't start on time.
we're a little ring rusty, I think it's fair to say. So
I'm rusty as can be. I am the reason this was delayed. Sorry, guys.
No apologies necessary. It's all good.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm looking in the comments. Gary, Ches, Leslie, Lee, whoever's out there. It's good to see all of you. I should have noticed when Gary asked if it was just us in the comments. So I
didn't put two and two together. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I've done it again. You see how I've got to do this every week or I fall apart. And the reason I now have an alibi, I have a hole in my head. I really do.
Yes, you do. So, all right, John.
I think leaked out there, but hey, here we are. Here we are, Dan. Beginning of the season. Can you believe it?
I can't believe we're here.
The people next door in my hotel room can't believe it because they're going to hear the same stuff all over again.
Let's see if we can rehash the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, sorry.
Good evening, Jules.
People have these wonderful podcast setups, and I always go with my pen or my spoon because I am a rank amateur and I prove it.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm here to just have fun.
Good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you.
As I said 20 minutes ago, you are in the promised land. You are actually on Tyneside. So
I am.
Talk to us a little bit.
And before, offline, apparently, you asked about the weather over here. And to be honest, it's great. I mean, for me, I came from 100 degrees Fahrenheit back in Oklahoma, and today it was a high of 66.
Oh, nice.
So I'm living, it's nice for us guys that are getting a little old and a little bigger to not sweat as much. So I'm happy to be here. I am very happy. And I just got, the new kit and everything. I don't want to sweat in it yet,
Yep. No, that's for tomorrow and getting beer spilled on it and all that good stuff. But so before we get too far, what do we have to do to push buttons and make red things come up? Make the subscribe button come up. Talk us through some of that and let's get that out of the way.
Okay. Well, I'm just giving a shout out to some of the people who help us so much. Thank you, Jules. And
only because we did it 20 minutes ago, we might as well get it out of the way.
And we got to thank them, and we got to thank them again. And we do this for fun, but it's appreciative that we have a sponsor, and we love it when our viewers sponsor us. So, if you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button. We're really just encouragers. Yeah, we're just encouragers, and we try to get people to have as much fun as we do with this.
Absolutely.
One, we're football fans, and two, we're diehard Newcastle fans. And if you really love us, you can sign up for a membership at 99p per month, and that helps us. Big shout out also to one of our sponsors who both of us know and love.
Joseph Spinney
and family create some really nice Newcastle-oriented T-shirts, and we both have a few. They're great. So
and Diacro, code BAZ20 gets you 20% off at the Diacro shop. So go out and look at some of their really neat merchandise and get yourself a Macam Slayer t-shirt. There you go.
Yeah, Diacro, they're great. Love them. Well, yeah, so here we are on the cusp of and that was our 20 minutes ago was our exhibition season for Dan and I, right?
Exactly. It was our preseason. That's right.
This is our first match right here.
and Dan scored an own goal.
Well, I scored the own goal. You pointed it out.
It's all good. It's all good.
So we had a little fun with that, and thank
in
God.
the comments.
Yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
Dan, I've been here 17 days, and I'm just kind of getting my feet on the ground. I Yeah, after this summer, I just wanted to get away, and it's been great. I
Well,
got to individual.
105-degree heat, triple digit heat in Norman, Oklahoma. It's time to cool off a little bit. So
Yeah, yeah, and come here and it's 65 degrees. And I even went swimming the other day over here in Color Coats.
yep.
Uh, that was on Wednesday, and woo, my nads are right back where they should be. But let me tell you, it was cold. But I'll tell you what, the rest of the day I was really refreshed and really enjoyed that visit to the coast for a couple of days. Now I'm back
Super.
where I can just walk to St. James Park for the match.
Yep.
Each of the two Sella Cup games, that was fun. It's always fun. Like I told you, we got to see the preseason last summer, and which seems like a long time ago, but
In
it
similar warm conditions, but much more
uh,
humid.
yeah, that was pretty brutal. That was, I think, like when they went to Tokyo this year, they got to experience the
Yeah.
humidity of Philadelphia and then Atlanta, and oh my gosh, yeah. But in terms of the fan experience, it was kind of family oriented, the Sella Cup, because there's all these people in the surrounding area, and you and I know this. They can't get tickets,
Yeah.
and so these are opportunities to take the family to watch the lads kind of warm up and see your heroes. These
Yeah.
kids just love it. You could see so many families with their kids, and I was lucky enough to go with Baz and Ian and their families, and beautiful people, all of them, beautiful kids.
I saw the one
It
photo
was
of all of you together and can't wait to hopefully do the same thing again when we come over in January.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody warned me about the North Sea, but, of course, I know about it. So, I knew what I was getting into, but, yeah, I had fun with it.
So
Yeah.
Les, you're gonna have to help me with the conversion, but in the North Sea, what's the average temperature up out there at Color Coats? I asked that because here on the Monterey Peninsula, we're on a bay as well, and people come out to California in June and July and early August thinking Baywatch weather, and then they go dip their toes in the ocean, and our mean temperature of our Pacific Ocean up here on the central coast of California is about 56 degrees, 58 degrees.
Yeah.
So our guys that go surfing and our folks that go body surfing and that kind of stuff, go swimming out there, they all wear wetsuits because prolonged exposure in those temperatures, they can get you in trouble there. So yeah, average temperature is bloody freezing. There you go. It
Yeah.
is ours is similarly cold. So if anybody comes out here to visit, you're welcome to go, wade up to your knees, or if you're particularly adventurous, you could go up to deeper than that, like John did in color coats. But it's just as cold here, I think. So people that want to
Yeah, it's
go,
it's very similar.
yep,
It's very
yep.
similar.
So you had the
Yeah, I don't
Sella weekender. Did you go to the
yeah.
ladies match, the lasses?
No, I volunteered for the food bank,
Got
and,
it.
I don't remember if that was the same day, but I got caught up doing a bunch of stuff like all about.
Like we do when
We
we get there. Yep.
we try to yeah, we get hit on by a bunch of people like, "Hey, I wanna see you. Hey, I wanna do this. Hey," and we try and kinda round them up and all put them in the same area. It's like, "Well, we'll be in the Strawberry from, uh, 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock when the game starts, and then we're in."
Right.
So
Yep.
people will go there and we'll hang out with them and have a good time.
Yep.
But I had a few of those commitments to do. Um, so I didn't
That
actually see it. In fact, the other thing was I left the food bank to get in, and the queues were crazy trying to get in. I'd never really run into that. So I usually we try and get in a half hour ahead of time or
right.
something.
Yep.
I was pressed. I was like 20 minutes ahead, but there was lines. It was
Yep.
moving slow. And I
Yep.
think it was everybody trying to get used to their phone and the app and everything like that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
But anyway, I got in. As soon as I got in, they kicked the ball off. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine.
There you go.
And lovely, because I got to, because it was a Sella Cup, I get to pick where I was going to sit. And I picked the Gallagate for 2 games. So I just wanted to be right back there. And the first one was great because we scored 4 times on ours, on our
Into
side.
that goal. Yep.
Yeah, and I was sitting next to the standing singing section, which was, this is great. This is what it's all about, So I really experienced that, and it was fun. The next match was not as energetic, but it was still good to see our guys play.
Yep.
And just getting familiar with the different players, and we still won, so that was good. And then back to the Strawberry with Ian and Baz and family.
Got it.
And it was great. Now, the week before that, I want to tell you about this because that charity match that they put on was absolutely fantastic. That was August 4th. And after looking at the calendar, I kept moving back when I was going to go on this trip. And I said, well, I'm going to go in time to get there for that and just show up like I did in California. Right. And Baz came off the field. Ian saw me before the game, but Baz was on the field directing people and getting the whole thing set up. And he didn't know until he came off near halftime. He's like, what are you doing here? And I live for those moments. It's just fun.
We love when you surprise us, Jack. We do.
It's no longer going to be a surprise. People are going to be like, look, he should be here by now. But anyway, it's just great fun for me. And that charity game was really good. I mean, it was outstanding. I got to meet the
quite
family.
A bit of money. Yep.
Yeah, I got to meet Kieran and family, and they were running all around. They were all busy with helping out with the event too. Yep. But yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed the whole experience.
And raised funds for a good cause, for a good organization, doing good things for good people. So, what can you do better than that? Pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Just give more.
So Dan, and that's all what I did, but I want to hear what you're doing tomorrow because I know you're very involved with organizing things. You're a big football supporter, and you're a big Monterey Bay supporter, the biggest. Right. Actually, I've been there. I've witnessed it in Orange County. I'm sorry, and and I know you're working on something all summer. What's going on there?
So I've lived on the peninsula here for 26 years now. So and we've never had a local pub to go and watch Premier League games. When I moved here in 1996, you had to pay for Fox Soccer, Fox Sports World or something, which was like a premium channel, and an additional $15 or $18 a month on top of your cable bill in there to watch the Premier League. So it was prohibitively expensive.
We were younger, and that matters.
Yes.
Those extra
yes, those extra dollars. That's correct. So it was prohibitively expensive for businesses to get into doing the Premier League stuff. I remember going to watch in 96, in 97, 98, 99. I remember when I went to go watch the FA Cup finals that Newcastle played in, and we had to go out of town to find a pub. We drove an hour north to find a pub where we could watch the matches, and it was on pay-per-view. And we each paid $35 or something to get in the door.
Oh my gosh!
That included a full English and your first pint, but that was the way that they were able to afford to watch the match. So like I said, in 1996, I moved here from North Carolina, and already a Newcastle supporter, but nowhere to watch. And that was back when we used to pay $50 a month or $50 a year just so we could listen to games on the internet. Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning just so you could listen to the game. You couldn't even watch it; you just listened. Which got there was a romanticism about that. It's kind of like back in the 30s and 40s of the old radio shows and stuff. It was kind of like that. But
I give you a lot of credit because in the 70s, of course, I was still young and running around 20s and 30s, and you were at least searching for ways that you could connect with Newcastle. And all I did was listen to, stories from my relatives about Newcastle and all that, and then we got the kits in the 80s, but I didn't even know it was possible. I just didn't. I mean, it was not like I got on every night and checked the internet, because the internet wasn't a thing.
No, it wasn't a thing, and dial-up was the best you could get. And come on, you you guys were busy. You and Sue were raising a family, so
Yeah, we were.
football was probably all the way at the back of your mind. But when you're 23 years old and all you can do is obsess about a football club because you love the sport, you don't like gridiron football, you don't like basketball, you don't like baseball, you got bit by the soccer bug, and now that's all you want to watch. So anyway, in 96 there's nothing out here. I've been here for 26 years, and we've never on the peninsula, we've never had a regular facility, a regular venue where we could go and watch Premier League games. Now, it's been a few years since NBC got the rights and everything, and then the coverage has been excellent. And then of course the pandemic introduced all the streaming channels to everything. So we have a brand new chain restaurant / bar here in town in Marina called the Brass Tap, and a local family owns it. They opened the franchise. They saw their first one down in Dallas, and once they realized it was a chain and it could be franchised, they brought a franchise here to Marina. And it's a sports bar, not unlike Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. But they've got 60 taps of good quality beer. It's a full bar, that kind of thing. And I've been, since they opened in late April, I've been on them to see if I could convince them to do Premier League mornings. They usually open at 11 a.m. and they're open until 11 p.m. midnight on weekends. Getting the commitment to open at 7 a.m. for an English soccer game, it took some coaxing.
Well, let me tell you, that's big, because I'm worried about trying to coax people to turn on the TV in their pub at 9 a.m. Yep. But you've got the problem of being the West Coast, 7 a.m. That's wow. That's
and of course the first game, of course, is the one is Ipswich versus Liverpool. I think at 4:30 in the morning. We all agreed, no, those people can watch at home. You don't need to come to the pub. But they're getting ready for the NFL season to start. So NFL Sundays is something that they're really excited about. So we're gonna try this out for a couple of weekends, maybe till after Labor Day or something. But we'll see how this goes. But I've got them committed to, and I have to give them a shout out. Carl and Cassandra and Brittany are all excited about me, Superfan Dan, hosting Premier League Saturdays at the Brass Tap in Marina. So at 7 a.m., we're going to open. We're going to have a limited menu, full bar, but we know for sure tomorrow we'll have the Arsenal Wolves match on at 7 a.m. on the USA Network. 3 other matches are showing on Peacock, and I'm getting to the pub at 6:30 tomorrow morning to see if I can get the Peacock channel to show those games so that we can watch Newcastle also. If not, I'm just bringing my iPad, and anybody who wants to watch the Newcastle match could come over and look over my shoulder. But I know at least 4 Arsenal guys who have already committed. They've DM'd me saying they're coming. And I just posted on Instagram from our Fog Dog Footy channel, and I added the Brass Tap and Superfan Dan as collaborators. So if you go out to Instagram and look up Superfan Dan 831, you'll see the post. I'm just excited. We're gonna have 2 games tomorrow minimum. We've got the 7 a.m. Arsenal Wolves game, and then at 9:30 we've got West Ham versus Aston Villa. There's 3 other games at 7 a.m. I'm hoping I can get those up on the TV as well. But if nothing else, we've definitely got the Arsenal game.
Yeah, you've got to. I guess you got to do like hashtag Marina, hashtag Brass Tap, hashtag. Just
hashtag
try and get everybody interested.
PL and USA. I mean, yeah. I've got over 1,100 followers on Superfan Dan, so I'm hoping that a lot of Monterey Bay fans will get excited and they'll come out. And we want to show the owners of the Brass Tap that this is something that we can keep going. This is something that's sustainable.
Oh, and you
So
know, we talked about that in California when I was out there, and you know, one of the things is, hey guys, this is your new pub, and if you get people coming in here on Saturday, it'll catch on. It'll start slow. It'll catch on. Remember, we're building up to the World Cup. You
yeah,
know, you're going to want to have this place as a soccer/football place,
yeah.
and I love it, Dan. You do good
So
work, man.
we're trying, buddy.
Yeah,
I'll put on my big super fan Dan hat on tomorrow morning, and we'll get over there, and I'll wear one of my new kits, and
yeah,
just get people excited about it. Monterey Bay is on the road. They're going to New Mexico. They're on their way to New Mexico as we speak. They play New Mexico at 6 p.m. local time here. So I will be at the Brass Tap at 6:30 in the morning to get ready for the Premier League season. And then I'll
yeah.
be at the Brass Tap until noon. And then I'll probably go home and catch
Take a
a nap. And
nap.
then I'll be down at the Britannia Arms on Alvarado Street in Monterey to host the watch party for Monterey Bay versus
Oh,
New
wow.
Mexico. So
You
it'll
see,
be a
this
soccer day tomorrow.
this guy is busy all the time.
But it's just fun because I want people
Oh,
to
it
like
is.
the game as much as I do. And
Yeah, that's it.
if I can convince them to like the game, then I can convince them to be Monterey Bay fans right here on the
Right,
peninsula.
right.
If I can convince them to be Monterey Bay fans, then I can convince them to become Newcastle fans. You don't
And you
want to
know,
follow City. You don't want to follow Chelsea. You don't
yeah,
want to follow Man U. You don't want to follow Spurs. You don't want to follow Liverpool. You
yeah.
want to follow Newcastle United because the sleeping giant has been awoken, and it's
Yes.
time.
And shout out to our friends in San Diego and and
Eddie and Shade and Simon
yeah,
and
and
many, many more.
and encouragers in Nashville, Jim and
Jim.
his
Yep.
friends, because you know, that's what they do is they try. You don't have a team yet? Oh, well, I mean, you got to follow this team.
Yep.
Okay. This one is a passionate team that has a storied history, and you know, there's so much struggle. And so when you finally win something, it's big. It's
It's
big.
gonna be huge.
Yeah, don't be a Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea. Oh, geez, you know, don't be a glory seeker. Just chat with us, have a beer with us, and watch the lads. It's great
I,
fun.
I saw Alan Shearer teamed up with Guinness for a new ad, getting ready
Oh.
for the Premier League season. That's a neat one. What
How
else?
about the ads for the new shirt and the second?
Oh, good. I was just about to bring that up.
Ah,
The first one was monumental because it was
I
so cinematographic. It was
yeah.
so
Here,
great.
here. This is me on the first one.
Yep. But
The second one was like, yeah, they got Murphy in it. Oh,
all the cameos, all the little Easter eggs that got stuck in there were so good.
yeah.
The Mad Dog giving us the you know,
There was a
Eddie
still shot. There was a still shot of maybe it was when Solano is with the trumpet, and
in the toilet.
says the sign next to him says, "We have YA-Fi."
Yeah, I saw it. Yep.
Yeah, instead of Wi-Fi, we have YA-Fi.
Yep.
It was good. There were little things like that. You're right. There's Easter eggs all over it.
Oh, I just liked seeing, it took me a second time to catch Darren Peacock and Lee Clark and Steve Watson because I thought I recognized him, but of course, and those are the guys that I started watching a long, long time ago. But with the original entertainers group, but we've all gotten a little bit older. Come on, let's be honest. So
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when I saw the three of them, I was just like, those look like fun lads. And then you have to pause it and go, holy shit, that's Darren Peacock.
yeah.
But then to have Ginola at the end was just
Yeah, that was good with the shirt. Yeah. So
just what a great ad.
I got to tell you something. I was talking to Baz, and I said, "Hey, I found this really neat pub. It's called the Monk Seat and Arms." And I sent him a text. He goes, "Are you there right now?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm just having a beer." And he goes, "Oh, well, then I'm getting a call." He says, Yeah, my parents are walking on down. They'll meet you there. So
That's great.
we started having a conversation. We had a great conversation. I love his parents. They're great. And in walks in Steve Watson.
Did he walk into the Monk's Eating Arms?
Yeah. And his mom goes over and says, "I'm going to introduce you." And I said, "No, don't bother him. Don't bother." So he turns around and waves, and we wave, and, "Hey, this guy's all the way from the States. He's watching the game." I said, "Yeah, how you doing?" And he didn't bother coming over. He was busy with some people, but it was just funny, and it was good to see him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Our
And then of course you watch the new ad, and you go, well, they all must be in town somewhere. Or
yeah.
then I found out they shot it earlier,
in
way
March,
earlier.
back in March, and
Yeah.
they had to edit Elliot Anderson out
I know.
because he was in the T-bar sequence all the way at the end. So
Yeah.
So let's talk about the news of the day that everybody's talking about. Of course, is the fourth offer for Gahey, and it's been rejected. And it sounds like Crystal Palace is moving the goalposts on us.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that means we've got other irons in the fire. I know that we were all excited about Chow a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he's even interested in coming to Newcastle. I know there's other options available to us. I know that there are some folks out there. Well, okay, let's put it this way. There are some groups on YouTube that look down on folks that try and be positive all the time. And I am not a happy clapper. I'm a genuine fan that is excited for our possibilities. And you know what? If
Yeah.
we can't sign everybody we want to, I think FFP it's crap. PSR is crap. When
Yeah.
you have the richest owners in the world, and you are the richest club in the world, and you can't spend money, just
Yeah.
seems ridiculous. And then you go and look over at Chelsea, who are buying, another 35 players over the summer. It just reeks.
Or Man United getting a little bit extra COVID money, right?
Well, yeah, extra COVID money, which is crap
So
as well.
what's going on here? We all know what's going on here.
But sure. So I'm, having watched as many of the preseason games as I could. The ones in Japan were 3 o'clock in the morning our time. So I got up, and I can't say that I finished both of those matches, but I got up and started them at least. But I mean, we've had a chance to see some really promising football being played over the summer, and lots of people harping about needing an elite right winger. I'm not going to disagree that we need a right winger. We need an upgrade in that department, but we've had Murphy, who's scored 5 in preseason. I realize it's preseason. All that we can make all the excuses we want, but I'm just sitting there going, the guy's in a vein of form. We know he can be hot or cold, but let's let the guy start the season the way. Everybody looks good right now. It's great to see, J7 and Bruno in the middle. I'm almost going to sing it. But I mean, to see them both back and with smiles on their faces. It's good to see Gordon, back with a smile on his face. It's good to see Hall and Livramento having phenomenal preseasons. It's good to see everybody knocking the rust off.
Yeah.
And then on top of all of it, we have a brand new signing named Sandro Tonali. I know.
That's
but
right.
The fact that we only got to see him 4 or 5 times last season before he was banned for 10 months, it is a new signing for us.
Yeah.
We saw what he was capable in that first match against Aston Villa, and then we
Yeah.
were shortchanged for the rest of the year. So I'm thinking things are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
if we can keep Fab Share healthy, we've got Lascelles coming back in January, possibly. Wilson will be back soon, and we know that when he's on the pitch, you're guaranteed at least 1 goal. So I'm just the Premier League is back, baby. It started 2 hours ago, and we get to start tomorrow. So I'm just excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'm thrilled, and I really think we have a powerful
Nice signing.
team.
Yeah.
And, as much agony as we went through with injuries last year, you got to remember, if we'd have won one more of those matches last year that we lost, not one that we drew, but one more, and especially towards the end of the year, if we'd have beaten Man United, which we should have,
Right.
we would have gone to Europe.
Yep.
We would have been, and that was unbelievable to me after the season we had with injuries and
Yep.
setbacks, and it looked terrible. But yet we dropped as low as 10, and we kept inching up towards the end of the season. So you got to remember, we were really close to being a powerful team last year, despite all the injuries.
Yep.
If we can manage the injury situation this year and keep people fresh and rotate some of these guys that are, they used to be playing last year. Some of them will be, second. If we can get them into the game, just get them minutes, get them time, give the others some rest. I think we're going to be a team to be dealt with. We're going to be tough.
I think so.
And I told some guys here, I said, look, I'm in Newcastle. I'm taking an extended vacation. I walked into Betfred, and what are the odds on Newcastle winning the whole thing? And they said, well, it's like 34-1 or something like that, right? So I get out a 20 quid. That'll get me like $680 or something, 680 quid. And I said, if I don't do this, I will kick myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I think we're going to finish first? I doubt it. But are we capable of any of those spots between 1 and 8? Yes. Anything can happen. So I would kick myself if I didn't put that 20 quid down. And I like to be like you, Dan. I like to be a little positive. You can call me a happy clapper if you want to, but I'm sorry, that's just where I am.
I prefer optimist.
Yeah. It gets hard. The older you get, it gets hard. But yeah, I'm full support of Newcastle United.
Yep. I'm just excited that we're getting started again. It was great to see the lads performing in preseason. It was great to see the ladies play in the Sella Weekender. That's another side that has signed. There were some favorites that we got to see out there at Kingston Park when we were there in March that are no longer with the club. But look at the players that they've signed. I think that there's the possibility of another back-to-back promotions coming up, because that's going to be a formidable side to watch during the women's season. So I'm excited for that as well.
And that helps, because one club helps the other. You get publicity, you get recognition. So love to see the ladies do well. Yep. And I hope they're going to be okay. I will mention that, Amanda and Merdad leaving, they were big supporters of the women's club. And I hope that Newcastle continues to, really encourage them, the women's club, as much as the men's. And I hope there's no drop off there.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're worth going to see. It's a lot of fun. And the good thing is we go to the Saturday match to watch the lads, and then Sunday there's usually the women playing on Sunday. So, it's doable. And what we like to do, Dan and I like to do this, is pack as much stuff in on our week visit as we can, So, yeah, we'll try and get out there again. I did meet Anis today, who you and I met.
Yep.
He does a podcast about Hearts, his favorite Scottish club, and he also does one that touches on Newcastle stuff. So, he's our buddy. And
the gentleman that came and met us at the end after the match, right? Then we got the selfie. Yep, got it. Yep.
I had seen him before, but we got to visit. You and I got to visit with him, and so today I did a little discussion with him that he's going to make part of a podcast, and I hope to get out there again, because there's good people that support that club. We know some podcasters that support them. Matt, is it Matt?
Yep.
Matt,
well, there's
Joe.
Yep. There's the Newcastle Newcastle Fans TV. There's the black and white banter guys. Then of course, Adam P was out there when we were there, and he was with us. So no, so I agreed. And it's just exciting to see the women, like we said last year, having them part of the club, not an independent franchise or an independent team out there, having to fend for themselves. Being part of the club is the rightful thing to do. It's the right. Now we're all under the same roof.
Hello,
I'm
Simon.
just, hey, Simon, and then there's Morgul and Jules and Greg and Gary. Sorry, Gary, and then Les. Hi, Leslie. So it's just good to see all the people. It's good to see everybody in the comments. It's good to see, we're gonna get another sellout tomorrow. So I'm excited for that. And then of course, yeah, you've hinted at it. We've hinted at it. When John and I met in 2023, we were lucky to get the doubleheader Brighton and Leicester City matches back in May of 2023. Then last year we were able to get a back-to-back match, a couple of back-to-back matches in March. So that Tara and I got to celebrate our 22nd wedding anniversary plus 1 day in the Milburn stand at St. James. No, I'm just excited that football's back. It's been a long close season. There's still 2 weeks in the window. You never know what could be possible. I'm excited about this the Osula kid that we signed from Sheffield United. We've got a whole bunch of young kids coming through. Remember, we've got Joe Willock, who's coming back from a long spate of injuries last year. So our side now is better than the side. Realistically, our side now is better than the side that got us to fourth place, in 2023. So I'm feeling positive about the season. We've still got 2 weeks in the transfer window. We still could see a couple of additions. We're hoping for them. But if it doesn't, then we can work on trying to get some players still. We've got some players that are going to go out, and then hopefully we make some moves in January. We'll see.
Yeah, and you made the point. We've got Tonali coming back. We've got Willock coming on the mend. He's in there, but he's limited minutes. Callum Wilson will be back soon. And we've added Kelly and Osula and who's this kid? This Sanusi.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's a ball handler.
Yep.
And it'll be exciting to see him. So we didn't get Minte into the lineup, but maybe we can slide him in there get him some minutes.
Yep.
And because he's been kind of impressive, and I think Eddie wants to keep him with the first team. So, we're pretty strong. And if you watch the media too much, you just get depressed about it. But it's like we're sitting pretty good now. If we can add 2 players, all of us would be happy. But we're sitting pretty good.
And I see some some specific jersey numbers weren't allocated in the squad numbers that were released this morning. So I'm still thinking, keep our fingers crossed. We've got some more tricks up our sleeve, and when things have happened for us, it has been fairly quiet. All of a sudden, pop, there it is. Getting Botman was a surprise. Getting Isak was a surprise. Getting Gordon was a surprise.
And the other thing to remember is we put in for some people at TK, or there's a couple people we put in for we didn't get, and it was like, oh, what a blessing, or Calvin Phillips. We were thinking we were going to get him, and there was a couple of guys that we were just dead set we had to have, because it looked like negotiations were going to happen, so it was like, oh, we need this. We need get them over the line, get up. And then you step back and you go, God, I'm glad we didn't get that guy.
I'm right there with you. Yep.
Some of that happens too.
I think we also need to shout out that Premier League Fan Fest is happening again. the last one was in Nashville, which you got to go to on the way
Yeah.
back from Newcastle when we were last together. And
Yep.
now there's another one coming up the 21st of September. And this year this time it's in Chicago. And we know
Right.
lots of people in Chicago. We know lots of people in the on the East Coast that are all going to make that trek. And what I'm seeing in the comments right there is that Simon from San Diego just made his flights.
Right.
He's going to Chicago as well. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And sadly, are you gonna try?
Well, it's really crazy. I owe Eddie a response because Eddie's trying to make it too from San Diego, and I keep rearranging my schedule here while I'm here because it turns out my son is going to fly in and he's going to be here for a couple of days next week after the match. But he knows that I'm here and he's in Germany and he's going to come over, so I still got so much planning to do. And little does anybody know, they're asking me if I'm going to be in Chicago. And I said, when I get home, I got like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then I fly to North Carolina to be with my brother and his family to watch a college football game. And then I'm taking the train up to see my daughter who just moved to Brooklyn.
Right.
And then I'm taking the train down to go to Baltimore, where I was going to watch 2 Orioles game and stay overnight and watch Newcastle play. And then the Premier League said, hey, we're going to be in Chicago. And I'm like, I'm going to have to drop one of those Orioles games and fly to Chicago on the way home to Oklahoma. And so it's really hard for me to do the planning for this because it took a lot just to make that trip work for me to be in 3 different places. And now I've got to add a 4th to go to Chicago. And people are saying, where are you staying? I'm like, I haven't even booked it. So
Jules is asking if you ever rest. Jules is asking if you ever rest. My wife and I talked about it. We would love to go. Unfortunately, the weekend before we'll be in Las Vegas to support Monterey Bay away in Las Vegas. And I will have been in Vegas attending the Oracle Cloud World conference that whole week before. So I will just be getting back to work I fly back on the Monday after the Monterey Bay match. So I'll have it'll be hard for me to go to work for 3 days and then ask for more time off to then race up to Chicago. It wasn't in the cards this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hope, keep my fingers crossed that, maybe they'll get to Salt Lake City, or they'll do Kansas City, or they'll do Vegas, or they'll do,
or
something.
They might do the West Coast.
Well, maybe they'll do San Diego. If they do San Diego, that'll be great. I don't think I don't think San Francisco's ready for them.
Are you talking the Premier League?
Another fan fest.
Yeah,
because they'll do another one in the spring.
In the spring, do they do that now? Do they do 2 of them?
Well, they did the one in Nashville now in the spring, and now they're doing this one in Chicago.
Right, but I mean, have they ever? Do they do 2 a year typically?
Didn't they? The one before Nashville was where? Was it in LA again? Was it in LA again? I don't know.
Well, I couldn't tell you. I thought it was once a year, but now I'm hearing that they're going to do another one, and they really should do the West Coast this time because.
But even if they did it in the Midwest, I've got family in Kansas City. I've got family in Oklahoma, or at least in Norman. I got we've got capabilities. Yeah, Simon's saying 2 a year, and yes, Simon is correct. Simon, the new place is Fair Play. Is that what it's called in San Diego? The new San Diego Mags get together spot.
Ooh, he told me what it was. Was it full time or?
It's about a mile away from the Bluefoot. So
yeah, Simon, just type in the name of where you're going to be this year. I forget. I took a picture of it. Halftime, full time.
I think it's Fair Play. I think it's called Fair Play.
That might be it.
Fair Play. There it is.
There it is.
Thanks, Simon.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah. So.
Yeah. So if you go to San Diego, and by the way, I encourage you, if you can't get to Newcastle, do like Dan and I do, and go visit another Toon Army club.
Yep.
And you'll be among brothers and sisters, and you'll have a great time.
Absolutely.
And it's fun to check them off too. Now I know people in Baltimore and Chicago and Nashville and Denver and Dallas.
Yep.
I've been to Dallas a couple times. Yeah, they're all great. It's fun. So yeah, what are you thinking for this? Never mind this season, which we both are feeling pretty good about. What do you think of the first match? What's your prediction for the first match?
Southampton's just coming back up again. Good coach. They just signed they're signing a couple of guys from Chelsea, one on a permanent and one on a loan. Hopefully their paperwork gets lost in the shuffle and they're not available for tomorrow.
Yeah, they can't play as a team yet. They're not figured each other out,
Simon just put in the comments, and that's where I was headed. I'm still thinking we're going to overpower Southampton. I think 3-0 is a fair assessment, especially because we've got Pope back in goal. I think we'll be able to keep a clean sheet tomorrow. And I might eat those words, but we'll. Yeah. Hey, there's Daniel Wallace, and he's going to Peter Dillon's on 36th. Make sure you go to the Peter Dillon's on 36th. There's another Peter Dillon's, but you want to go to the one on 36th.
That's right. There's another one, I think 39th, but no. Yeah. You want to be 5th Avenue and 36th.
You're thinking Longstaff the whole time you're walking through Manhattan. You're going to 36th. You've got Longstaff on your mind. That's where you want to go for Peter Dillon's. So there you go. I hope that helps, Daniel. So Jack, I hate to do this, but because we came on late unavoided, unfortunately, but I've got to skedaddle because I'm going to get my tattoo worked on. So and my appointment's in 20 minutes, so I gotta go.
Well, that's okay, because it is time to kind of wrap up. And you gave me the prediction. What'd you say?
What about you? I said 3-0.
3-0. I said 3-0 earlier, and I'm starting to think like 4-1. I'm between 3-0, 3-1, 4-1. I'm going to say 3-1.
Okay.
3-1.
All right.
3-1. But anyway, good to get this started again. We'll try and keep it going. Yeah. I still might be here next weekend if we have to do a show, but at least I've got everything kind of ironed out.
Yep. We're moving the oldest into college next weekend, but we're coming back on Friday night because I've got 7 o'clock in the morning, Premier League morning. So we got to come back. So if we try and set this up for this time again at 9 o'clock your time out there, we might be pushing it, because I might either be getting on the road or I might be carrying boxes into a dorm room. We'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll work on it, and hopefully we can squeeze one in next week. But I completely understand if we can't. Maybe we can just pop in on one of Baz's and say hello to everybody. But
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Dan. I know what your schedule's like, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Those were mine. But
I'm just jealous that you're exactly where I want to be right now. One day I'll be able to get over for an opening weekend match. I'm just so chuffed for you. I can't even speak.
I know, you can't imagine the amount of times that I've said, "Hey, look, guys, you're looking for Dan. We'll both be here in January, and this will be a bigger deal." So, we look forward to that. Anyway, say goodbye to everybody, Dan, and I'll say goodbye to you.
Good time to see everybody. Good. Thanks for everybody in the comments. Leslie, thanks for moderating, and John,
thank you.
Love you, pal. Always a good time, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.